The South African Sevens rugby team is preparing to say goodbye to the single most influential person the local game has ever produced. Neil Powell dedicated his career to the game of sevens, and at the Rugby World Cup Sevens tournament in Cape Town over the next 3 days, a team coached by him has a chance to deliver the most fitting of send-offs. Our reporter Simon Burke is on the story. Simon, good morning to you. I know it's early in the tournament, but what is the turnout like? And explain the atmosphere for us.
Well, the World Cup Sevens, it's a long tournament. It's a very long tournament. They're going to be all the way down to about 8 o'clock tonight playing matches. South Africa's only scheduled to start playing just after 7 tonight, the Blitzboks. Before that, the women's team will play at around 6:30. Those are the two marquee matches for today, but there's still the preliminary matches. So the crowd is trickling in slowly, very, very slowly. It's not gone midday yet. When we hear the noonday gun on Signal Hill sound, perhaps that will rouse the Cape Townians into getting their acts together and getting down to the stadium. But they do turn out. Organisers expecting around 150,000 supporters over the next 3 days. But it's a slow build-up, very slow build-up. The Blitzboks, as I say, only in action later this afternoon, but they've never won this tournament. So they really are in game day mode. They've got their mind set. They've had their mind set for the last week and a bit after a woeful Los Angeles Sevens tournament that capped off their World Series bid. They were trying to defend their title. They lost it in the end to Australia. So they've got a lot to get right in a short space of time before kickoff tonight.
Yeah. Well, talk to me about what you think, and if we're hearing anything from Neil Powell and why this is such an important weekend.
Well, yeah, the Blitzboks never won the World Cup. They've always been one of the form teams up there. The current holders, New Zealand, they've won it a bunch of times. It's a prestigious trophy to have in your cabinet. They've been the World Series champions under Neil Powell numerous times, back to back, a few years back. So they've got that under their belt. But with the World Cup, it carries a little bit of more weight. And also, given the fact that the Springboks are the reigning world champions in the 15s games, it would be a nice bookend to have the Sevens also, because they really are one of the form sides in the series. It's a pity they've never won it. Neil Powell equates this trophy to that of Olympic gold, which is saying a lot because Olympic gold is absolutely the gold standard, and the Blitzboks have got a bronze medal in that so far. So a World Cup, something missing. It's his last hurrah. He's going to the 15s game as Sharks director, so this would be a fitting way. But of course, the team's not saying anything about that. They're just focusing on what's ahead of them, and what is ahead of them is first a preliminary match tonight.
Well, I mean, I think we can afford to do this. I can afford to ask you to throw the bones a little bit then and tell me if you think that the Blitzboks have a chance of actually lifting that title. Are you optimistic for them?
I am optimistic for them. What we see in sevens is it goes in waves. Teams are up, teams are down, teams are up. South Africa's been down a couple of matches. They were very high up. They were Commonwealth gold medal winners. And then they went into a very, very bad patch. And that's because the teams read each other very well on the series. They live together, they travel together, they suss each other, they're constantly analyzing each other. So the big sides like New Zealand, Australia, Fiji, Argentina, England, they're all in the mix and they're all looking at every move. So what I am predicting is that the Boks have been down, but they're coming back with something big, and it only needs to be really brought out tomorrow night. Today, again, just preliminary. Tomorrow, shock and awe. Probably going to play England, possibly Ireland. They have to bring their A game then. And that's when they're going to wheel out a few tricks that no one anticipated. And that's the game of sevens. And that's where the Springboks were. They were getting a little bit too predictable, but that's how it is because, as I said, they're all together all the time. Yeah. Now they're going to come with something. Because it's at Cape Town as well, it's their home tournament, but also it's the World Cup in their home, and they're going to want to do something special.
Yeah. It's looking awfully quiet outside the stadium there, but we certainly hope those numbers will pick up with our reporter, Simon Burke there, essentially saying that 150,000 people are expected to turn up for the Sevens weekend. So we'll keep you updated about it as well throughout the weekend.